Hey everyone, my name is Imran Muna and I'm your onboarding specialist for today's call. What I'm going to do in this quick video is walk you through how to create an interview assignment for your students. So the first thing we're going to do is make sure we're on the assignment page here. If you're on another page, you can just click the hamburger menu in the top right-hand corner and go to assignments. From here, you're going to see a button that says create assignment and you'll have a few different options in here. For this video, again, we're going to focus on creating an interview assignment. So we'll go ahead and click that. Now, most interview assignments by default have 3 stages set up for them: a screening call, a middle interview, and a final interview to make this feel as real as possible for your students. That being said, if you want to edit these defaults, you can always add a couple more steps in here. For now, I'm going to keep that off and just keep it to the standard 3. But if you know that the process might take a few more calls, you're welcome to add as many as you like in there, up to 10 calls. But that would be a pretty challenging interview. So for now, we'll stick with the default 3. The next thing you're going to do here is schedule these interviews. So we're going to pick a due date that these calls will be done by. Let's set ours a few weeks from now. Set it at the end of January, for instance. And we're going to open availability for these calls today. So you're setting up the window here. This is when all the calls need to be completed by, and this is when students can start making or receiving calls to practice for this interview. Another option you have here, instead of setting one due date, is to set individual due dates for each interview. For instance, if you'd like the screening interview to be due next week, the middle interview to be due the week after, and the final interview to be due 1 week later, you can set things up that way and create availability windows. So we could open the screening interview assignment next Monday and have it due next Friday, and continue to configure windows of availability for each call as you go. So another option you have here, if you don't want to have these all eventually due on the same day, just another option you have to keep things flexible. But for now, we're going to go with the shared schedule. So we'll go next there. All right. The next thing we're going to do here is decide whether or not students are going to be allowed to put in a job posting of their own choosing so that these calls can be for a position they're interested in, or if you're going to pick that job for them ahead of time. This is sometimes done by faculty in specific programs where you're only allowing students to practice a set list of specific job titles. So you have both options there. If you select no, you're going to be asked to put in a job title or description. And if you select yes, students are going to have that same option later on. So for now, let's set it as yes. This is always an exciting mode to create for students because then they can pick a job that they're interested in. The next thing we're going to do is configure each one of these interviews, and it's quick and easy to do. What you're going to see here is a quick breakdown of the types of questions students are going to get asked at each one of these interview stages. The questions are going to be auto-generated based on the job posting. So if you pick it, they'll be based on your job posting. If the students pick it, they will auto-generate questions for the student's job posting. But that being said, again, if you want to customize this further, you have the option to add any questions of your choosing. You can just type these in yourself and add them to the list. Again, if you have some insight into the job and want to make sure that they practice for a specific question now. But I would recommend leaving it in the default settings. It does a great job on its own. The next thing you can do here is choose the attitude of the interviewer, and this makes a big difference. I would recommend starting with friendly the first time you set up an interview to keep the experience light and encouraging. And as your students build more confidence, you can start to challenge them with other attitude types. So for now, let's make this a friendly process across the board. And I'm not going to change any of the other questions as well. You can see that in the middle interview, they're going to be mostly technical. And in the final, there'll be standard final stage type interview questions. So a couple of things about recapping what has been said, motivation to join the company, company fit type questions, etc. All right. The next thing we're going to do here is choose a mock interview assignment name. For now, we'll go with something standard. Practice interview assignment. What you put in these fields is important because you have the option to have email reminders sent out to students, and they'll see what you typed in here. So take some time to make sure you put the instructions in that you would like them to see as they get reminded. I'm just going to put in, again, just something for our demo today. Let's call this Career Services 101. And you have the option to put in a couple of other optional details in here that will help you filter the results of this assignment later on. So if you want to put in project codes or project sections or course sections, you have the option to do that here, just so it's a little easier for you to filter the students you would like to review from our dashboard later on. But for now, I'm going to leave that blank. Okay, the next step here explains how to provide access to your students. So in some programs, if you have a list of specific students you would like to upload to our system, you can do that with a CSV. But the more standard option is to generate an assignment link. And you can see that in option 2 here. So what you would do is simply click copy and paste this link on your course LMS, on your school website, wherever you're going to be directing students for information about their assignment. You'd be able to paste this link, and from there, it will prompt them to sign up for an InStage account under your school and redirect them to the assignment and start sending them email reminders about it based on what we configure next. But the link option keeps things simple. The CSV option gives you some flexibility, again, just based on how you've organized your class. All right, now on to the automated reminders I mentioned here. You can choose when to remind your students if you'd choose to remind them about these assignments at all. You may already be doing that through the LMS that you're using, but if you would like our system to specifically send email reminders about the different stages of the interview, which can be helpful for many students, you can choose to send a reminder when the availability window opens 24 hours before the due date arrives or on the day of the due date. So I'm going to put these at the start of the window and 24 hours before the window closes. And the last setup options we're going to go over here pertain to the information that you're going to receive on an ongoing basis. So if you would like to capture a transcript of the calls your students are going through, you have the option to enable that as well as an audio recording. Again, pretty standard that most faculty would like both of those, and it will let the students know that that's going to be recorded. And finally, you have an option to receive email reports of your own based on the completion of this assignment by your students. So if you'd like a report after each due date is passed, or only after the final due date is passed, or no email reminders at all, you have the option to configure that here. Many faculty decide to monitor this directly, so some do choose to receive no emails. If you do want email updates about how the assignment's going, you again have some options about what you would like included in that email. Or if you would like to have this email sent to any other faculty members. So if you're a program coordinator, for instance, and you want to make sure everyone on your team is getting a copy of this assignment, you can add those other emails here in the additional report recipients section. But for now, I'm going to monitor it myself from the dashboard, so I'm going to click Do Not Send Email Reports. And finally, you'll review the settings you created, double check that you have all the dates and information that you want. Here's another option to grab the link, and then we can deploy the assignment. And what you're going to see now is an empty version of the 3 interview stages that we set up, which is going to be populated with student data as they complete the assignment. So as students complete these calls, you're going to start to see who has completed it, how many are done overall, and you're going to start to see aggregate data collected around these assignments as well. So you can start to identify where students might be struggling. And that's it for now. It's quick and easy to set up, a lot of fun for your students. And of course, if you have any questions as you go through this process, you're always welcome to reach out to our support team, who is happy to help. So good luck to you and your students, And we're excited to hear how it goes. Please reach out with any success stories. Our team always loves hearing those. Have a good one.